Welcome to another episode of the Goddess Sugar Podcast. I trust that you are arriving in gratitude, love, and all the magic the universe has to offer because you are very much magical. A gentle reminder before we dive in, everything that I speak about on my podcast comes from my personal truth, experiences, and journey. Take what resonates with your spirit and leave what doesn't. This is a space for exploration and not perfection. Trust your own path and let's walk this magical journey together. Before any episode, I think it's important for me to acknowledge the people and the forces that have brought me here today. Thank you to my divine pantheon for trusting me with your ancestral wisdom. Thank you to Spirit for being all things. Thank you to the universe for holding the cosmic beauty of our infinity. Thank you to my ancestors who walked before me. Thank you to my sacred guides for holding my hand every step of the way. Thank you to my family, friends, mentors, teachers, and the collective who support me in this physical realm. And thank you to myself for daring to live as the goddess that I am. Hi. Hello, babes. I know it's been a while since I've been on, as you all keep reminding me. Yes, it's been a little minute, but I'm back. Okay, I'm back. And you know, I'm not even going to give you guys excuses. I'm just going to apologize. I am sorry for being so inconsistent. That is on me. Okay, but I'm here. Okay, we're here. Well, first of all, I affirm all is well in your world. I hope it's all magical. I affirm that everybody is enjoying this harvest season. Okay, if you're in Chicago, it was okay. We got a little winter time, you know what I'm saying, this past weekend, but overall, Chicago, she been doing her thing with the temperatures. For it to be like still 60, you know what I'm saying, like 50s for real, feeling nice. I'm excited, okay, because I'm a Southern girl. I like the heat. But anyway, so I actually have a beautiful episode for you all today, as you can tell by the title. We're going to get into how life is just so sweet for you if you allow it to be. Today's reminder is very simple. It's okay to smell the roses. You've done the work, you've tended to your garden, and now it is your time to enjoy your harvest. Life isn't meant to be a constant hustle. It's meant to be savored, felt, enjoyed. So let's talk about what it means to allow life to be sweet to you. And before we get into it, I don't know if y'all are able to tell, but at the bottom of each episode, there are actually sections for comments and polls. And please feel free to get into it because I love to see your take on the episode. I love to see what you took away from it. So don't be shy. Go ahead and put your thoughts in there and tap into those polls too. I want to see what y'all talking about. You know, I love to see where the answers lie. Don't be afraid to interact with me. I will interact back. All right. So the inspiration for this episode, actually, I thought it was perfect. I was actually sitting looking at my roses and literally the episode title came up and I was like, oh, this will be an amazing episode. So this past week, I actually received some roses and it wasn't just the gesture itself. Of course, the gesture itself was very sweet, but seeing those pink roses just reminded me of where I am in my life and the fact they were pink. You know, I've been extremely tapped into my divine feminine as of lately. And so receiving the roses that were pink, it just made me smile, you know? But as far as the roses themselves, it reminded me, wow, I'm in a space in my life. For once, I feel like, honestly, where I'm smelling the roses. And that is such a big thing for me because I'm not sure who all can resonate with this. But if you're anything like me, I'm a big overachiever. And I'm like, okay, I want to get this done and I want to manifest this and do this, right? And that's great. And that's amazing. But sometimes we can get so caught up in the process of manifestation and receiving that thing, living that dream, that we actually don't allow ourselves to bask in it. And life becomes a big checklist. And so receiving those roses just reminded me, wow, I am in a space where I can simply just enjoy life. I'm not in a space where I'm striving for anything because everything that I wanted is here. And so I wanted to remind you, goddess, that it is okay to smell your roses, okay? And also, in addition to that, we are still technically in the season of fall. And when I think of the season of fall, I think of abundance. I think of the harvest. Traditionally, those are the themes that go with the season of fall. And so even though it's getting a little cold, right? Okay, wintertime is like, I'm back. We are still in the season of fall. We are in the season of the harvest, right? So think about everything that you wanted to manifest this year. If you're into vision boarding, right? I really encourage you to go back and look at your vision board when you have a moment and see, what did you harvest? And actually, when you look at it and you think about it, you're like, wow, this did happen. This did come true. And it's such a beautiful thing, because I know with me, I make a vision board and I don't think about it after that. I'm not constantly looking at it. But then I go back and I'm like, wow, this happened. Or wow, this happened in a way that I didn't even expect it to happen, right? And so I want to get into how to allow yourself to enjoy your harvest and giving yourself permission to congratulate and celebrate yourself, goddess, okay? Because you made it. When I talk about the harvest season, right, this is also your season to receive. And why is that such a big deal? Because sometimes we get so caught up in the giving, we get so caught up in the doing, right? And as I am allowing myself to be in my feminine energy even more, I am understanding that the beauty of the feminine is that you just be. It's no doing, okay? Because traditionally, when I think of masculine and feminine energies, right? Being and doing. And I know for myself, even though I'm presented in a very feminine way, right? Inside my energy sometimes can be masculine because I'm doing. And I've been doing for 24 years. So that's why it's been such a big deal for me now to allow myself to be, just being and soaking it in. And that is the other part to getting the results that you desire, right? Because I know for me, because I told y'all I moved to Chicago at the end of September. Yes, end of September. And I remember about 2 weeks in, I was looking, I was like, oh, I'm excited. This is great. So what's next? But then I had to come back and sit with myself. I'm like, hold on. Can we actually bask in the fact that you moved to your dream city? Like, can we just enjoy that? It doesn't have to be the next thing, right? You don't want to necessarily be in a perpetual state of manifesting, like hardcore. You get what I'm saying? Technically, you're always manifesting, because your thoughts are always going, your beliefs, all those things, right? But I'm saying, like, constantly on the strive. Y'all get what I'm saying? So it is important that you allow yourself to be in your receiving era. Allow spirit to bless you, okay? Allow spirit to be like, here you go. And then some, You know what I'm saying? If you consider yourself to be an overgiver and you overextend yourself, trust me, I can be that way as well. It is important that as much as you give to the world and as much as you give to the people that you care about, that you also receive. That is the balance that you would ideally like to reach. And you have to remember, goddess, the life that you're living, the person that you are, the woman that you are, was once a dream, right? So think about where you are, think about what you have, look around, and really ask yourself, wow, like, think about it. At one point, this was just a dream. This is just something that you fantasized about. It was something that was just in here. Because when you think about vision, right? You don't see it on the 3D. Whatever result that you're trying to get to, the 3D is the last to come in, right? That's why it's so important to have great vision. Okay, because it starts all in the mind. That's why your mind is so powerful. Because once you have the vision of it, right? Then your thoughts, your actions, your beliefs start playing in. Everything starts to play in. And we talked about the bridge of incidents in the last episode, right? All of that is coming together. So you have to remember, like, damn, this was my dream. And now I'm living it. Isn't that beautiful to think about? What you had in here had no physical form at one point, right? Now you're living it in physical form. Do you see how beautiful that process is? Or not even just talking about like necessarily a dream, or like you move into your dream city, or you getting that car or whatever. Not even something material, but just thinking about who you are, now. You have to clap for yourself because the woman that you are right now was once a dream. You know, maybe you always dreamed to be a woman that had a peace of mind with clarity, that was focused. You know, maybe for the longest time, you know, you dibbled and dabbled in old patterns, old habits that weren't good for you. And now you're not into that. Look at that. You did it. You did it. And you have to bask and you have to remember that. That is such a beautiful thing to celebrate. And in the midst of thinking about this, right? About this dream that has now come true for you. Congratulations again. And I'm going to keep saying it because you deserve it. Gratitude is key in this process. Very much so key. And even if you're not necessarily where you want to be fully, still give thanks. Still give gratitude because you've made it this far. You may have tripped along the way, but you're here. So we give thanks for that. We understand that as manifestors, gratitude is how you magnetize more abundance in your life. That's how you get more, by being thankful for where you are and what you have now. You know what I mean? I know for me, even when I was going through this process before I actually got to Chicago, even when I was living in Peoria, if some of y'all know where that is, I was still thankful that I was that close to Chicago at the time. So no, Peoria is not where I wanted to be long term, but I still gave thanks in the process because I'm like, okay, I may not be in Chicago right this moment. I may not be living there full time, but I'm only 2 hours away. I'm that close. I'm that close to my dream. And that's what you have to do with yourself. That's what I'm saying. For the goddesses that may not be exactly where they want to be yet, but you see it, you keep going and you give gratitude. And for the ones who have made it, you are actually living it fully. Give thanks. Right now, just take a moment. Just take a moment. Pause the podcast. Give thanks. Give thanks to spirit. Give thanks to your ancestors. Give thanks to yourself for not giving up, for keeping that hold and that grip on your vision. Give thanks to your divine pantheon because they were working on the back end. You know what I'm saying? They were working things that you will never see. Okay, that you never knew of. Also, you know, Thanksgiving being at the end of this month, I think this ties in perfectly, right? Now we know obviously the history of the holiday. I know everybody not into that, but I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at the surface level. Give thanks. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, give thanks. Please understand that while you're in the process of anchoring your manifestations down, or like I said, if you're one of the ones that are living it in real time, your pleasure in allowing yourself to bask in it is a part of your gratitude. You enjoying it is actually giving thanks, okay, to spirit, to the universe. So when you get what you want, enjoy that shit. Enjoy it. You deserve it. You deserve the world. You deserve everything that your heart desires. And that's why spirit is backing you so hard. That's why your ancestors are backing you so hard. Please understand that when you live your dreams, your ancestors are also living those dreams. You know, you living your dreams, you being the person that you want to be is actually healing generations that are going to come after you and generations that came before you. When I think about the concept of harvest, and when I think about the concept of smelling the roses and giving thanks, I think about my grandmothers and I think about my great grandmothers and my great-great-grandmothers, the women that came before me. And I think about how much autonomy I have and how much freedom I have. And I'm like, they didn't have that, but I'm living it, right? And because we understand that our ancestors may not be here on the physical plane with us, they still live within our blood, right? So that is how they are still experiencing it. So when you receive that result or whatever thing you're manifesting, or when you're living that dream, your pleasure of it all, you know, yeah, because y'all know me, I love pleasure. I love talking about that. It's also pleasing to them, right? Because they get to enjoy it too. You living your dreams is not just for you. You know, like you're the one, yes, getting the material success of it all, but it is healing to the ones that came before you. So we give thanks for that as well. As I'm talking about your gratitude being the pleasure, allowing your joy to be a symbol of gratitude for this life that you're living or for this thing that you accomplished. I think that's why it's so beautiful to enjoy the process and to enjoy the journey, because I'm sure you've heard before that it's never really about the destination. It's about the journey. So even in that moment where you receive that thing, you're like, yes, I got it. You give thanks for the process that you had to navigate to get to that result, because most likely you had to upgrade yourself. I talk about that a lot. Most likely there was a part of yourself, or a version of yourself, I'll put it that way, that you had to let go of, right? So we give thanks for that as well. We give thanks for the whole thing, not just the result. We give thanks for the journey. We give thanks for the versions of ourselves that we had to let go of, because they were important too. I just want to add that even though, like I said, most likely you had to let go of a version of yourself to get to this new reality that you're in, the versions of you that came before, they still get to enjoy it as well, because even though they are no longer needed in this next step in your journey, they were a part of a step that came before, right? Y'all get what I'm saying? So yeah, we give thanks. We give thanks. I apologize. I know I keep saying that, but it's like so important to give thanks. Just take a moment and give thanks. When you actually allow yourself to enjoy the process, allow yourself to enjoy the joy and the pain of it, I think that's the beautiful thing about it. Because I think about challenges, Jesus Christ, so many challenges that I had to endure. And while in the moment, I was like, ew, like, challenge? What? and while I experienced my own collapsing, right? I look back on it now and I'm like, thank you. The biggest thank you give to yourself, because you can have as much support, you know what I'm saying, as you can get in both the spiritual and the physical, but it's you that has to walk through the fire. It's you that has to hold the vision, not anybody else. So give a thanks. You doing your big one. As I was talking about before, that masculine and feminine energy, the doing versus the being. When you're in your receiving era, allow yourself to be. And trust me, I be talking to myself, because especially, and I feel like a lot of women can resonate with this. But if you're an independent woman, like you were raised that way, or you were raised by women who were independent, what are you taught to do? Get shit done. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's not so much of an emphasis on, I would say, especially Black women, if I'm being honest, to just be, because we're always doing, fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like having to do something, having to save the world because the Black woman is superwoman. Y'all get what I'm saying? And I know for me, like I had to look back and be like, damn, I can't really think of a time in my life where I just allowed myself to be, but this is my time and this is your time. Sometimes it can feel scary to bask, like I get the concept of basking, right? But to a part of me, sometimes it's scary because I'm used to, being anxious about something, or like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? And it's like, if you're always operating in that energy of what's next, you're never going to get the to-do list done. You know what I mean? So it's like, allow yourself to bask. Like I think about my turtle. I used to have a turtle, and if you have turtles, like, they need a basking light. And I'm thinking about the turtle that I had, and I remember he would just go into his little water and be like this, and then he'll come up slowly, and then I'll come check on him like 15 minutes later. He's just basking under that light. I mean, he will be doing yoga under that light, y'all. I'm not kidding. Like, he will be doing yoga, and I'm like, this man is just basking. And so it makes me think of allowing yourself to bask in the sunlight, allowing yourself to bask in the glory of your life. It is okay to bask. Give yourself permission to bask, to savor. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when you're eating a really good meal, you don't want to scarf it down. You want to enjoy every bite, because eventually, as we know, moments pass, right? So your moment of receiving that thing, it would eventually pass. So we want to savor it. We want to bask in it. We want to celebrate. And I do want to touch on this thing because I wish I would have known this sooner. But you may be asking yourself like, dang, but Z, like, it's so much to do. I got other stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was just one thing off the list. All right. Please understand that your worth is not measured by your productivity. Contrary to what we're taught in society and what American culture teaches us about this hustle and grind, you always gotta be on a grind. No, babes, I do not subscribe to that. And I don't encourage you to. Why would you always want to be hustling? Why would you always want to be grinding? That sounds draining as fuck. No. Where's the basking at? Where's the savoring? Because again, if you're always in hustle and grind, you're never truly going to enjoy what you've been hustling and grinding for. I know y'all get what I'm saying. You put in all this work, all the sleepless nights, you know what I'm saying? All the times where you've had to overextend yourself, maybe work 2-3 jobs, like all these different things to make your dream come true. Okay, so baby, you did all that. Like you was doing all that for a while. Now you got the thing. So can we enjoy it? And it's also okay to reach that moment where you have accomplished your dreams and you don't know what's next. You do not have to know every single step. Stop putting that pressure on yourself to be like, okay, well, this is what the next 10 steps are going to be. No, babes. Look, live your dream. Allow yourself to sit in it, soak in it, bask in it. And the next step will be revealed to you. That, especially for my woman, that is where you really got to get into your intuition. And I really, really encourage you, if you are a woman that's not tapped into her intuition, because please understand, we're born with naturally intense, strong intuition. Okay, like our bodies are made for that. If you are a woman and you're not really tapped into your intuition, please tap into it. Put it into practice. Start using your communication line. All right, because that's what intuition is. Communication line with the universe, babes. When you allow intuition to really serve as a guide, you're not so pressed about the next steps because you understand that when it's time for you to move and when it's time for you to do something else, it will be revealed to you. You're not even going to have to try to find it or like try to figure it out. No, when you allow yourself to be like, look, I'm here and the universe got me whenever it's time to move. But until it's time for me to make another move, I'm going to enjoy this thing. That's how we move. That's how the divine femme moves, you know? Also, as a woman, allowing yourself to slow down. I gotta get on myself for this one because anyone that's like around me, you know, I move pretty fast. You know, like I walk fast, I do things fast. And recently, within the past few months, I really have been learning the art of slowing down. Sometimes it's still a bit of a challenge because I'm so used to moving that way. Maybe you are too. You know, when you're just like a busy bee and you're used to just getting things done, it happens. But as a woman, allowing yourself to slow down, slow it down. What Bobby say, Bobby V? Slow down. Okay, but no, seriously, allowing yourself to slow down, walk slower, talk slower. That's a bit of a challenge for me because look, your girl brain be like this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still working on it. I encourage you to slow down. You know, in your receiving era, allow yourself to slow down, magnetize, and receive, because please understand, the universe does not mind being your sugar daddy. Okay? Sprinkle, sprinkle. Allowing yourself to magnetize that way. You don't always have to be constantly doing. Like, literally, there should be parts of your day or even having whole days where you're just basking. Literally. Like, nothing else. Just basking, just smelling the roses, okay? And I had my roses over here on the side, but they were looking sad because I've been talking about them, but I ain't introduced them. So these are my beautiful pink roses. Okay, one more time. Aren't we cute together? Like, look at this. Picture time. Okay, seriously. Well, as we are on this topic of smelling the roses, I want to be clear as well on this because I feel like a lot of people get caught up in this. Here's the thing. When you get to that point in your life when you're smelling the roses, please understand that you need to be celebrating yourself. And not just celebrating yourself, but celebrating loud as fuck. Okay, I need you to scream from the rooftops what you accomplished. And don't feel bad. Don't feel bad because I feel like I went through a little moment of that where I'm like, dang, like, am I bragging? Like, am I talking too much? You know what I'm saying? About what no, babe. This is your life, okay? And please understand, most people, I would say about 99% of people don't even understand nor know the journey that it took you to get here. You know what I mean? Like, I know for me, there were only a few select of my friends who knew, you know what I'm saying, about my dreams, who knew, like, Z, like, she really wants to be in Chicago, because I would talk to them about it, and I trusted them with that, right? Look, they heard my cries about it, like, everything, right? So they know. But everybody else, you know, they just look, and it's like, oh, it's a result, right? Most people, you will not see until you get to the finish line. A lot of people do not understand the journey and what it took for you to be the woman that you are today, for you to be living the life that you live. So what would everybody else thinking? Like, celebrate, talk your shit. You did it. Yeah, you did it. You did your big one, and you can be happy about it, and you can love yourself out loud, and you can celebrate out loud. Period. Allow life to love you back. You be putting your work in. You be doing what you need to do. All right, so allow yourself to be loved up on. You know what I'm saying? Allow people to celebrate with you. Genuine and authentic people who are really happy for you. Allow them to love up on you. Allow them to celebrate with you. Allow people to tell you, damn, I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Allow that. Allow yourself to love up on yourself even more, but also allow life to love you back. When you move in the energy of allowing life to love you back, allowing yourself to smell the roses, allowing yourself to just really enjoy, right? Pleasure. Your energy shifts from striving to savoring. We love that. Yes. Acknowledge, yeah, the job may not be done. It may not be done. It's probably just the beginning, but still, congratulate where you are. Take this moment, goddess. Inhale. Remember, this is the life that you once prayed for, that you cried about, that you talked about all the time. You've bloomed beautifully, and the universe wants you to rest and feel in that and enjoy all the sweetness that you've cultivated. Keep choosing peace, keep letting life love up on you, and keep smelling the roses. I'll see you next time.
Stay calm, and remember, even when life tries to throw salt in your sugar, be a goddess anyway. Peace and blessings. Much love. Ciao, ciao. Ashe. Until next time, love. XOXO.